we go. You're on.
Hi, I'm Barbara Bucci, and I'm representing my late father, James J. DeMartis. This is from my collection, my portion of his estate, if you will. He was a painter in the abstract expressionist style. He painted his whole life. He died when he was 70, studied and sold and was in collections all over the world. These are a few of my favorites, and they fit the theme of the show, which is Blue Bayou. His work is kind of fantasy landscapes a lot of time, and if you look real close, you might find a little naked lady at the edge of the water. He worked primarily in oils and acrylics, and there's a lot of works on paper as well. One thing I'm really happy about is I found that here it is 24 years after his death, his work appears to still be vital and people respond to it, and nothing could thrill me more than that. So it's a pleasure for me to share him with the world.
Alice Laputka says, my current abstract series, Dream Vistas, relates mostly to Florida subjects such as oceans and turtles. These mixed media paintings are created from my imagination and memory. I start by allowing myself to play with color, shapes, texture, line, and composition. There is interplay between my directing the painting and allowing the painting to lead the way, which is evident in the variety of subject matter. These are abstract impressions of nature with an occasional representational addition, such as a turtle when it feels just right. Jane Baldridge says, I want to share my love of the water, its beauty and preoccupation with its power and its need for protection. I have painted this subject many times in many ways, but at each attempt my desire burns hotter to continue to share what I see. I am passionate about the planet, especially the oceans, rivers, and bays, and I have found that I have a tremendous respect for the power of the water and the wind.
All right.
Here we go. This is Mallow Bissett.
All right, so this painting here is called Easter Sunday, since I was in my studio in quarantine and painting like crazy. And I thought it would bring people happiness to see all these beautiful colors of the sunrise. I don't remember anymore now if Eastern had so beautiful sunrise, but I work strictly with the palette knife, so you can see the waves and stuff and the beautiful sunrise affecting the whole ocean and your sand on the beach. And all these colors seems to me like they bring people happiness and hope for a better future.
Perfect.
Laura K. Whitaker Darville writes, I discovered my love for jewelry making quite by chance at a class offered on a cruise ship. Since then, and often incorporating many treasures from my travels, I have devoted myself to creating pendants, earrings, bracelets, rings, and necklaces in sterling silver, pure silver, and jeweler's gold. Wire wrapping and silver metal are my preferred techniques for my pieces. Some of my favorite objects to be included in my jewelry are beads, pearls, gemstones, coins, crystals, and beach coral. Cheryl Cote writes, as a visually impaired artist, I want my creations to represent the internal struggles so many people face daily, suffering with their own physical, emotional, and psychological challenges. I want the individual titles to reflect the inspirational roots of my artwork and draw the onlooker into my world. The titles and visual representations enhance the connection with others, if only for a few moments, so they can share the elements that inspire my work. Sue Klon says, I am an ocean-inspired artist who currently enjoys exploring the many techniques associated with fluid art Acrylic and resin are my primary mediums used to create aerial views of the ocean. The ocean, the ebb and flow of the tides, wave formation, and the many shades of the color blue can be seen throughout my work. It is my desire that the viewer experience the calm and serenity that the creative process affords me.
All right, now I'm recording.
This was one of the most technically challenging pieces that I've done because of the way that it had to drape in the kiln, this glass. It was literally flat out like this over a steel pole in my kiln. It's several pieces of glass fused together, and there is a big hole that had to be cut in the top here in one complete piece of glass, actually two complete pieces of glasses. And then the collar here is all out of crushed glass, and that had to be fired, and then again this had to be slumped or melted to a point to fit over the piece. I also made the stand on this, which is natural stone, copper, and it is wire wrapped as a part of the design. And I'm really proud of this piece just because technically it was so challenging, and I'm very pleased with the way it turned out.
Perfect.
Chad Pearman writes, "When the first caveman learned to make fire, it provided heat, light, and protection against the wild environment around them. And so began our disruption of nature with technology. Nature is being artificially mechanized, computerized, digitized, and hybridized, leading to a gradual suffocation of the living, breathing world. The very essence of humanity may be systematically uprooted in favor of a wholly synthetic and programmed existence where everything that exists in nature today may one day only be a product of our imaginations." Maria Mealy writes, "Bold, minimal simplicity is the creative force inspiring much of my work, capturing and interpreting natural environments in an expression of color and composition. My painting is constantly evolving, which is evident in the variety of subject matter and styles throughout the years. What does stay firmly consistent, however, is my passion for powerful color and strong composition." Lynn Morgan writes, "Before I begin a painting, I already have an idea in my head about the subject matter. That idea is often inspired by photos taken on one of my adventures. But it's always my intention to use photos only as an initial idea. Since color is my primary passion, I will select a color palette based loosely on the subject, but more on what colors I am in love with that day. My goal is that my work expresses my quest to consciously understand my spiritual self, to participate in creating a personal and collective reality for the world around me." Alex Murray writes, "From the beginning, I have always focused on making functional pottery with very clean designs. I like to keep a simple aesthetic in my designs. I love the idea that someone would use one of my bowls for their daily meals or a mug for their morning cup of coffee. Pottery has been around since the beginning of time, and maybe it's the feeling of making something useful from such a basic raw good such as clay that gives me such a feeling of accomplishment." Diana Rell Dean wrote, "I paint in a mode of magical realism, a term invented to describe the works of certain Latin American authors. It describes a capturing of a moment, the beauty of a place, building a vessel, or the energy of figures dancing, celebrating, resting, or moving through life. I offer the viewer a chance to partake in these human images and feel them. All works, created in chalk pastel, depict seascapes, boats, and people that I've encountered in the Caribbean, Tahiti, Belize, the Bahamas, Croatia, Finland, and Sweden.